wrong.
I breathe better when it's cold. I don't like to feel cold. So I like cold in my nose. You know what I mean? Anymore, I can't breathe when I get out in the heat.
Call this meeting of the Madill City Council to order. If you'll stand with me. So we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move to line item number 3 with the roll call and declaration of quorum being present.
Bryant.
Here.
Rushing.
Present.
Williams.
Present.
Davis.
Present.
Stanley.
Present.
Seeing a quorum present, we'll move to line item number 4, discussion and action of the consent agenda. A, minutes of May 13, 2025. B, May general fund purchase orders. C, May 1 cent purchase orders. D, May capital project purchase orders. And E, May CDBG purchase orders.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Bryant.
Yes.
Rushing.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Seeing approved, line item 5 becomes moot. Line item 6, a public hearing for the purpose of discussing the proposed budget for the city of Madill, MPWA, special revenue accounts, and capital project funds.
All right. Did each one of y'all get this paper here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. These are some things I want to add to the budget. First thing, under the Stanley Center Complex Museum will be, those funds will go to not just help staff somebody there to be able to work and keep it open more, but they'll replace some of the display cases, up-to-date the stuff that's in there, as well as get somebody in there that can help answer the phone, maybe some of the tasks, day-to-day tasks that they need help with there or whatever. The other thing is that dang remodel that I started last budget year on our building in the park. That thing has turned out to be a nightmare. I was hoping to be done with it before this budget year even starts. We were going to try to do the inside only and then try to come in and do the outside later, which didn't work out because we could not stop it from leaking. The outside was in such bad shape. We ran into termite damage and all the wood on the inside, as well as electrical nightmare. That's where I've spent most of the money at so far, is the electrical part of it. So now we're going to have to get the shell put on it and then work on the inside. So that money there will be to go to that building. So, and also, every year, I think Jenny doesn't like me because of this, but I always under budget our revenue on the city side. So if something like this comes up, it's easy to just put more sales tax in there for the budget to balance, and I still come in under. I'm too conservative with what our projected income is every year. I wish I was that conservative with my expenses, Carol, but I'm not.
Me too.
But I am on the revenue, that keeps the budget in line. So everybody's got a packet here. If you would, just open up page 1. And pretty much that very first line item, I'd added $100,000 to it, so if you guys would just make that $3,150,000. And then, of course, I'd change the franchise tax up to $250,000, which I still think is extremely conservative for what we're probably going to bring in. I'm pretty sure that we're going to bring in more than that. Let's go through expenses.
So we're not changing the franchise tax, correct?
No, I was going to leave it where it said. All bear with me here. For page 4 is where the expenses start. And anything that stays the same, if you guys have any questions on it, don't hesitate to call at me, but I'm just gonna go over a few of the things that we're changing. Shop supplies, I raised that $5,000, as well as building maintenance. That one's a hard one to even estimate, because as you can see in the years past, it could be 10,000, 9,000, 20,000. It could be, we never know. That's just a shot in the dark. Of course, liability insurance change on that. Let's see here. That's pretty much on the general government. City council stays the same. You guys, unfortunately, don't get a raise ever. Starting at the city manager's salary, I'm asking for a 3% cost of living raise across the board for all employees. And in every department, you're going to see that there's an adjustment there allotting for that 3%, as well as the Social Security match, and Medicare match, and retirement will be changed a little bit due to the cost of living raise if you guys grant that. So for the city manager's part, that's the only change there is a 3% cost of living raise. Same thing with the clerk. I adjusted that up just a little bit more just because I feel like the salaries are going to fall short. But we do 3%, so it's a little higher. Municipal court, you guys set that yourself. If you want to give your judge a raise, that's something that you guys need to vote on. It's not something that I have any authority to do anything about. Moving on to the police. We buy large equipment like cars and stuff out of capital projects, which is a different account. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to discuss within this account what the purchases are going to be, so that we can go ahead and talk about the police purchases and fire. Inside the police, basically you see a 3% cost of living increase, and all the equipment, everything stays the same. But on the capital projects, which I believe is going to be in the very back, you'll notice that we are asking for 2 police vehicles, one of them being a Chevy Tahoe and one of them being a Ford Expedition. So Ford has, we're buying Ford for the longest time, my choice. And things were wonderful whenever the Crown Vic was out there, but whenever we started buying these Explorers, they were not holding up, and they were costing us a tremendous amount of money in repairs, just due to the engine hours having to run. Our speed of patrol is extremely slow in this town because we're so congested. So whenever you see a police car with 120,000 miles on it, it's wore out. And we're getting more miles out of the Tahoe. That since they are now making an Expedition, Donnie wants to try it and see how it holds up. Donnie, you want to speak about that?
I was notified by, well, I mean, historically, we've been using Tahoe simply because, as he said, they hold up a lot better in the city. We are more concerned with engine hours than we are with mileage, especially when it comes to warranty work on them. And the Tahoes have just been holding up a lot better than the Ford Explorers, which are the smaller SUVs. I was notified by Ford this year that for the very first time they're going to come out with a 2025 full-size Expedition with the police pursuit package on it. And I would really like to try it. It looks similar to what a Tahoe looks like now. My big selling point on that right now is that we can buy local, number one, and number two, we can get it worked on local.
So still Ford on the Expedition?
Yes,
Okay.
the Ford Expedition. The Tahoes have done great. I love the Tahoes. Our guys love the Tahoes. They have more room and they hold up. The issue is if we have warranty work that needs to be done, or if we have an issue with an engine or something, we have to take it to Whitesboro, Texas, to get it worked on. We tried to take it to Tishomingo Chevrolet, and they just couldn't because of the engine hours. They wouldn't honor the warranty, and so we take it to Holiday Chevrolet in Whitesboro, and they fix it for us. Whereas if we can get the Expedition and it can hold up as well as what the Tahoes are holding up, then we can get them worked on here locally at Woody Ford. And so I've already been in discussion with Brian. When they build their new dealership out by Walmart, they're going to have a specific section just for government employees, like municipalities and state government and stuff like that, so we can get the vehicles in and out faster. He just doesn't have the room right now. But right now, we can get them worked on locally if they hold up the way that we're hoping that they hold up. We won't have to worry about that too much. But, I just would like to get one to try it. It's cost comparable to the Tahoe. It's about $3,000 less. I think the Tahoe is about $54,000, and it came in at what, $51,000.
Yeah, I'll pull that in here in a minute.
They're pretty close and comparable as far as price is concerned. But this is the first year that they've had a full-size Expedition police package, and so I talked to the city manager about let's try one and see how it goes.
All right, thank you, Donnie. Moving on to animal control, of course, you'll see that there's a cost of living increase there. If you look at theirs, we keep a lot of money put into general materials and supplies, and most years we don't need that much. I like to keep that in there because when we do need something out there, it's generally expensive, it's not cheap, or we may need to do some repairs, so I like to keep that in there. I flipped that up one year because we were making repairs. I can't remember now. We're building pens, wasn't it?
Yeah, central air and heat.
Yeah, but I do want to keep that in there, even though most years we don't use it, just in case I do need to. Moving on to the fire department. Once again, you see the cost of living increase that's reflected in there. I did change their equipment from 20 to 25,000. Are you in here? Yeah. What is it that we're purchasing more of? I don't remember.
We're going to start replacing our bunker gear.
Yes.
Bunker gear got the 10-year lifespan. We're getting really close.
So we're trying to get some of those in every year. Moving on to emergency management. That position is now emergency management and safety, which is Tracy Kane. So she is full-time in that position and doing very well. So it went from something that was emergency management was part-time to actually having a full-time safety officer now and doing emergency management. So that's why the amount of the salary has increased so much there. Street department, once again, just the cost of living increase and everything else stays the same. Same thing with parks and cemetery, with the exception of utilities. I did raise that up $2,000 because we're going over budget at 15, so I moved up 17. Swimming pool, I just did some minor adjustments there, just trying to look at the years past and kind of guess at what we're going to be spending. The library is pretty much the same thing. The airport, I did raise that up just a little bit, and not just because David's here, but instead of a 3% cost of living rise, I would like to round that up to where we're actually paying him $2,000 a month to manage the airport. It's a little bit more than the 3%, but the amount of work he does is just really a lot more than what we're paying him.
James, can I, to back up just a second, on the parks and cemetery, on the amendment that you passed out, should we add 50,000 to that 371?
So you'll need to,
Right now, or prior to today, we had budgeted 371 for parks and cemetery. Should we just add the 50 to that?
well, yes and no, not a full 50, because if you'll go back, we're going to do that out of building maintenance, which has got $3,000 there, so you'd add 47, please round that to need a 50.
So to the total of 371, add 45 to 47
47,
in parks and cemetery?
yeah. And once again, city inspector, we had 2 employees be paid out of that. Now it's just down to 1, and that's why there's such a decrease in salaries there. And fitness center, once again, cost of living increase. And then under the senior center complex is where I want to insert those amendments that you have right in front of you. The next section is Madill Public Works. The revenue, I don't know how close I am, because we have new meters and new water rates and new sewer rates. Not only new rates, but you guys divided it out where that we have residential, commercial, and industrial. So without going through and figuring out how much usage each business is doing and how they're going to be billed, I just kind of take a shot in the dark on what I think the income is going to be. We haven't had those new rates long enough for me to be able to really judge what our income is going to be for a year. So I set that at 1.2 million for the water and 400,000 for the sewage charges. I'm hoping that it's higher than that, and as long as everybody's not like Terry where his is going down somehow.
There's got to be corruption and his is going down.
Yeah, I don't understand how that happens.
Something's going on.
But anyway, so that's, I just kind of took a guess at what I think the income is going to be. I think I'm under on that. I think it might be a little bit over that, so that's what I'm hoping for. I think it depends on how much usage that we get out of our industry. That's who took the biggest hit on the increases, and it's still up in the air on some of the industry and how much water they're going to be using. One in particular that may or may not be using a lot of water in the near future, so it's very hard to predict. Page 2 starts the expenses. Under general government, the only change on the front page is going to be our liability insurance. Of course, that just reflects what we've already on here just a little bit as far as renewal of our insurance policy. City council, once again, you guys are set in stone on that. There's no change on it. The city manager is just a 3% cost of living increase. If you guys do approve this, is the only change that you'll see there. City clerk, once again, just a 3% cost of living increase. Most of it, there's not a whole lot of change. And these departments except for maybe a cost of living increase. Moving on to water treatment. Of course, you got the cost of living increase. And then the chemicals and chlorine, I did adjust that from 70 to 85 because the cost of buying that stuff really went up on us, and that's what kind of an estimate of what we think it's going to be. The utilities, I did adjust it just a little bit from 70 to 72 just because we're coming in a little bit higher than what I thought. Moving on to water and wastewater distribution. Once again, a cost of living increase in there. General materials and supplies, I did adjust it up just a little bit, or actually double it. Because I mean, they've been so busy and having to make purchases on stuff as far as just the materials and supplies. I didn't realize how expensive water leaks were. And I'll give you an example of what we're up against every time there's a water leak. One of the big ones that we had, and I say it was a big one, it was in our neighborhood, and it's big because my house is shut down, but just to put a clamp on each end, I think was around $800 just for 2 clamps. And of course they're universal and they go into different angles and stuff like that, but that's just for the 2 clamps that you're splicing in water line with. I mean, it's just crazy how expensive all this stuff has gotten. And we do price shop and try to do the best we can, have different salesmen to come by and we'll work with different ones, but all that stuff has just gotten out of control. Wastewater treatment.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Just curious. General material and supplies, you decreased it like 12,000. Did we have, I mean, was there an issue for this year, or we just, I mean, it seems like this year was excessively larger compared to previous years.
General materials and supplies?
Yeah, it's like 10,000 to previous was 22,648.
No, that's the.
Am I looking at
the
something
20
different?
The 22 is what the current actual is right now.
Okay.
It was the budget before was at the 4,000.
4,000, okay.
So in '24, we had spent 40,551 and up to 55 so far this year whenever this was printed, so I put 60 in there.
Okay.
But once again, that all has to do with what happens with our lines out
Yeah,
here.
I've kind of figured, but I figured I'd ask
Yeah.
just for clarification.
Wastewater treatment, most of the line items have changed as far as cost of living increases, the majority of it. Lab analysis, that's something that we've started, and it's really given us an idea about how our treatment plant's doing, which is doing better. And we used to not have any money at all in there, and we spent 35,000 so far this year. That's what I put in there again for next year. Raising just the maintenance in general. Vehicle maintenance, we've actually put a vehicle maintenance line in there. We didn't have one before. Utilities, of course, I've raised that $5,000. Any questions on MPWA? All right, we'll go to 1 cent, the next section. Just go to page 2. The only thing that we're asking for on 1 cent for purchases go, and then I'll go as far as how I divided up that money for each department, is I'd like to purchase 2 half-ton Ford F-150s, and one of them, we're going to retire a vehicle because it needs to be retired, and the other one will probably pass down to, and don't hold me to this as far as where it goes, but we'll probably pass it down to animal control, let them have another vehicle. Now, under water treatment plant, under 1 cent, you're going to see a large figure there of $620,000. That is our matching funds for upcoming grant project out there to upgrade our A plant.
Which we all voted on.
Yeah, and that's our matching funds. And that will get our plant, our water treatment plants pretty close where we need to be yet. There's still some improvements that we'd like to make up there, but at least gets us DEQ approved and puts them off our back. This project was going to be one project, it ended up being a 2-year project just because the funding was lacking and the project was a lot more expensive. That was the one that originally, if I'm not mistaken, the engineering estimate was $750,000 and it come in like 1.3 million or something like that. So you can do a portion of it, and that wasn't even all of it. So things have gotten really expensive when it comes to doing projects like that. Then under the, let's see here, the wastewater, that 50,000 is going to go to the SCADA system that's out there. And what that does is it, when there's a problem or something, we have a SCADA system out there, but it doesn't work. And I can't tell you all it does because it's very technical, but it allows our operator to know what's going on with the plant whenever he's not there. So if there's a problem or something like that, it'll notify him. It's kind of like a computer, like a brain behind it, so. All right, now if you just go to the very back, under capital projects, this is where we transfer money from, whether it be general fund or MPWA, we're going to make purchases.
What color of paper are you talking about?
But past the green.
Pass the green one. The one that was handed out, that Carol handed out.
It's okay.
Mike, I didn't forget about you, I just, as far as your equipment goes, I just didn't put you on the spot like I did Don. All right, I've got too many papers here. So on the capital projects, the only thing that we're wanting to purchase there, of course, the 2 police cars, a 2025 Chevy half-ton pickup for the fire. So I've got some stuff here for that, as well as a used SUV.
Yes.
And then also a command post trailer. Mike, do you mind stepping up here and show me which one it is we decided on? I'm forgetting this one right here. We had a command post trailer years ago that you guys declared surplus because it was just, the condition of it was horrible. And it was too big. We only had probably one truck that could pull it, and the emergency services couldn't pull it because they didn't have a big enough truck. We're looking at a bumper pull. And I know this is under emergency management, but Mike is part of emergency management, so I've got him up here to talk about it. Mike, can you just tell us a little bit about what the importance of that, as well as
So like this trailer, it's a command post, and I don't know if you guys, like at the Sandbass Festival this past week, saw the tent that I had up, that we were running our command center out of. We were using it for fire, police, EMS, and stuff like that. So this trailer is basically the same thing as what we use for that. It'll be used for numerous stuff. The fire will use it, police will use it. Large incidences that we have right now, we have to use our command vehicles to where I'm in my vehicle over here running command, Donnie's in his over here running command. This is going to centralize us all together. We can use it anywhere, anytime. It's mobile. We have all the radio equipment in it, our TVs, radars, our GeoSafe. We can track people. It's an all-around mobile office, basically, is what this is for. And it'll just get us out of our vehicles and get us all together where we actually need to be.
so right now,
Mike, let me give that to you.
when we have an incident like the tornado that come through, the Chickasaw Nation was grateful enough to send, was it light horses?
Yeah, it was emergency management.
Emergency management, send their equipment in to assist us, but the problem is that when we rely on an outside agency like that and multiple places are hit, they have to pick and choose who they're going to cater to. I mean, luckily, we didn't have multiple cities hit, but that does happen a lot, so we do need our own. We used the old one as much as we could, but it was just so impractical that we couldn't go in there and pull with a half-ton pickup or anything. It required, like I said, a large, heavy-duty truck.
I don't know if you remember that. Y'all remember that great big white gooseneck?
That we had back in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful to have at the time, but it just was not feasible. And we ended up declaring it surplus, and I'm not even really sure where it went now, but this will be an up-to-date, nice trailer that we can use. The emergency management will be over it, and it'll be something that I'll finish my career out here. Most of it will do probably last 20, 30 years at least, I'm sure.
Is there another one in the area? Not, is there? So that's also too, the Chickasaws, the light horse Emergency Management is the only ones that actually have a trailer like this. And we were going to use it last week, but theirs was tied up, so they give us the tent.
Yeah.
So if you approve this, we will be the only agency in this area that has a mobile command post. So, I mean, it could be used, it'll be used with us for sure, but, I mean, if allowed by the city manager, it can be used in other towns and other disasters and stuff like that as
Absolutely.
well.
And then Mike's also asking if we could purchase a used SUV. These are just some examples of what's available right now.
So on this vehicle, we had got a used police car from the police department back when they had one that they got rid of and got a new Tahoe. We use this vehicle a lot when we go to a lot of incidences down around the southern part of the county when we don't need to take a fire truck. And we go a lot, we're automatic aid with Kingston, Texoma, Caney Soldier, Enos on structure fires and large instances, and we don't really need to take a fire truck down there. And I don't really want my guys driving their POVs down there because we need to get down there in a hurry if it's a house fire or some large incident on a rescue or something. And we've been using this vehicle to put 4 or 5 guys in and all the equipment in the back, and it gets them down there in a light sirens, it gets them down there in a pretty good amount of time. But that vehicle that we got from the police department, it was already wore out, and Donnie can tell you about the vehicle that we have. It was already wore out when we got it with them, and it's just getting to be a liability to run code 3 with that vehicle. And I know this is a used vehicle, but the ones that we found are a lot less miles than the one that's on there, the one we have. And it's not in bad shape, not like the one we have.
Is this coming from another town?
No, it comes from an actual dealer that sells used, like police cars and stuff that are in like very good shape. The sheriff's department is actually, that's kind of where I got this from. The sheriff's department are actually buying all their vehicles from this guy. And all their vehicles are in really good shape too.
It's all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Is there any questions?
Not for me, no.
Oh, control.
Oh, they got one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's available to all cities.
So Highway Patrol's got one.
Well, theirs is a lot larger, and it'll be deployed for larger incidents.
Yeah. You can talk about that other one?
Go ahead.
Patrol boat?
Yeah.
So the other vehicle, I don't know if he's got it up there or not, we were asking to replace my assistant chief's command vehicle. He's got a 2008 vehicle, 17 years old. You know, we take real good care of our equipment, and that's why we get 10, 15, 17, 20 years out of a vehicle. This vehicle is a 17-year-old vehicle, and 17 years, I mean, it's getting in pretty bad shape too. And I got the Tahoe. We're going to get him a half-ton pickup. He can get a lot more use out of a pickup than he can an SUV. So that's why we were asking to upgrade his vehicle. It's getting pretty old. 17 years. It's done its job.
Well, I'm assuming you just want to surplus that.
Yeah, his we'll surplus it. We can try to surplus the white one too, if you can get anything out of it. If we can't get nothing out of it, we'll probably use it for training. Stuff.
They'll take some of our vehicles that aren't really worth anything and cut them up, which is really neat. That way you get live training that way. So if they're only worth a few $100s or something, I'd rather see the fire department get the benefit of the training. Because the training they receive out of that is worth a lot more than a few $100s.
Are there any questions for me on any of that stuff?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's something that,
Is there any other questions for James? Thank you, James. We'll move to line item 7, discussion and action on adopting resolution number 747, which is the resolution of the governing bodies of the city of Madill, Oklahoma, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. That's as was just presented.
And with the 3 amendments.
yes. Or however many, the 2 good departments there.
Yeah.
I've looked at it pretty close. If there's no other questions or issues or problems, I would move to adopt.
I'll second.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Moving to line item number 8, discussion and action on resolution number 748, which is a resolution establishing guidelines for the fiscal year 2025 through 2026 budget amendment authorization.
I guess it allows me to do any type of budget amendments that doesn't affect the ending cash or anything.
I make a motion.
Second.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Moving to line item number 9, discussion and action on the property and liability insurance for the city of Madill, which will be for budget year 25 through 26.
All right, so property went from 73,934 to 89,445. Liability went from 66,948 to 83,110.
What were those numbers again? 70.
73,934. And that's property, and it's going up to 89,445. Liability was 66,948, going up to 83,110.
It's not like you got a lot of choice.
No, and you gotta have it, you have to have it.
I make a motion.
Second.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Line item number 10, discussion and action on the city of Madill workman's compensation insurance for fiscal year 2025 through 2026.
Workers' comp went from, or it's going from $99,987 to $110,911. Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, did that one that went down last year?
Last year it did go down some, but
Yeah.
we went back up this year, yeah. We've had several
So
claims.
that increase, considering it might have went down last year, is really not bad.
Don't have much choice there either.
Make a mo- I'll second.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Line item 11, discussion and action of accepting bid on Reed Street grant from Plaza to East Francis on 2nd Street.
Yeah, so I brought the bids with me if you guys want to look at them. I mean, they're all the same work, but we had 3 different companies bid on them, which all 3 are good companies. Pavers Incorporated, which is, their bid was $165,130. Miller Asphalt, which is the company that's done most of the work here recently for us, come in at $142,940, and Overland Corporation come in at $138,685.65. My recommendation is to go with Overland Corporation. They are not just the cheapest, but we have had wonderful,
They're good.
yeah, wonderful luck with them. They quit working for us for a long time. They wouldn't do bids for us because we were small and they'd doing larger jobs. They didn't even put in for bids, I don't believe, whenever we got that 1.2 million for street projects. They didn't even bid on that. And this is the first time that they've bid something in several years. So,
And since it's a REAP grant, somebody other than us has to kind of also approve,
no, you guys just have to approve this tonight and then we can move forward on it.
and REAP actually pays for it, is that correct?
Yeah, we got 75,000.
Yes.
Yeah, the rest of it will be our matching.
Y'all know what REAP stands for? I co-authored the bill about 35 years ago.
Well, let's hear it.
You know what it stands for?
Rural Economic
Action Plan.
Action Plan.
And it's only for cities under 7,000 population. So Norman, Moore, and Oklahoma City, and Lawton, and Duncan, and Durant, and Ardmore couldn't get our money.
Well, we've got 75,000 waiting on this. You guys approved it
I'll make a motion
for
to go with the,
Overland Corporation.
yep,
I'll second.
Bryant,
yes.
Rushing,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Line item 12, discussion and possible action concerning any matter not known or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting this agenda.
I don't have anything.
All right, line item 13, financial report.
Sales tax come in at $312,871.04. Use tax come in at $34,779.23. Current revenues are sitting at 107.69% and expenses are 106.31%.
Thank you. Line item 14, city manager's report.
Our days have been filled with brush and water leaks.
Tornado sirens.
And a swimming pool and sand bass festival. But we did get the pool up and running and got the leak that we had in there fixed, so we're not leaking water anymore and getting sand in our system. So we have salvaged that one more year and we are up and running. And in saying that, I was working on trying to get us a new pool whenever I first come into office and working on some funding and partnering with the Chickasaw Nation. And then COVID hit, that door shut, but now it's back open. And they're the ones that awarded us the big street project grant that we got, where we got 1.2 million from them for street repair. I'm going to start working again. I don't know if it'll be with him or if there's other grants out there, but I'm going to start working on a design again for a new pool.
A new design or design that was done?
Well, I don't know. I've still got that one, and I like it.
It was a nice design.
It was a nice design. It was a very nice design. I've still got it. But we'll look and see if that's something that we want to do, if we want to change it a little bit. I'd like for each one of y'all to come by and look at the current design that I've got. And even if we can't get a partnership with them, I would like to look at what it would take to finance us a new pool. It's time. There's some kids that's the only entertainment they have for the summer. I remember it I'd come over, I wouldn't even live in here and not swim in that little pool.
Do daycare still bring kids over to that? Do you know?
They do, don't they?
They do like a summer program still?
Yeah, but I would like for y'all to look at it, and I'd even be happy to bring the old design from pre-COVID into the next meeting and let y'all look at it and see what you think. But I think we need more. We need like a splash pad to go with it, and we need more of a family-friendly environment, not just a hole for people to swim in. I call it a hole because y'all don't have no idea how much work goes into that pool. It's crazy. That thing is not in the best of shape. Every year we stress out over whether or not we're going to get the thing going.
Then a headache and
Yeah,
just wore out.
it is wore out, and it's every year we spend more and more time to get it up and running, to get that deadline going. If you remember, not last year, but the year before, we spent quite a bit of money in the fall on it, so that last year I could open it up without any problems. To have more problems last year than I've had yet. I mean, it's becoming a money pit. So it's not like I'm gonna ask to shut this one down, but I want to do it. And just give y'all something to think about. Once again, there's brush everywhere. Every waking moment we have, we're trying to go pick it up. The land that we're using to dump it on is already getting full. We have brush pickup again quarterly in July. Plus there's more storm damage. We had just got it picked up whenever that last storm came through. And I told our guys, because they asked about whether or not they needed to start making the rounds again. And I said, no. I said, let's pick up our own right now. So we're currently picking up what's in the parks that you see, City Lake, they're out there today. And we're gonna get our own parks cleaned up because we've got a lot of trees and limbs down ourselves. And between now and brush pickup, we'll get ours done, and then we'll start over the first full week in July. We'll do quarterly pickup then, and we'll get all the new storm damage done. The duplexes are coming along nicely up on the hill. If you guys have not seen those, you need to drive up, take a look at them. And the company that's getting our infrastructure up there to that, as well as the other area up on the hill, which is where the Chapmans are putting in their mobile homes. I asked them to come in and go ahead and repair this line that is out here in front of our building. It's a 2-inch line that I don't really know where all it goes to, but they can come in and dedicate the time to dig it up and get it repaired, hopefully in a one-day job, or it might take us, God knows how long, because we have emergencies all the time. So we'll be getting that done, as well as getting the asphalt laid in front of the building here for that block as quick as we can. Drainage. I don't know what it's going to take to fix our drainage problem, but these rains that we had this year, which are record rains, have really opened my eyes up at how bad the drainage is in this town. It's getting worse. That this area of town that we're sitting in now, that little box that goes under the highway that's by Hobo Joe's is too small. It will not carry the water that we get from the rains that goes all the way from MacArthur down, and it floods that area. And we actually had to shut the highway down where the cars couldn't even pass through town because they stall out as soon as they hit it because it was so deep. Right now, that box belongs to ODOT. But in the near future, it's going to belong to the city of Madill, because they will abandon this portion of the highway whenever the realignment happens. So I would like to address it with ODOT now to try to get that fixed. I don't know what it's going to take, but it's a problem. We have drainage issues on our side too, but our water, once that stops up, no matter how good our curb appeal is and the water flow, it has nowhere to go. And that's what happened when we flooded out so bad. Sand bass went good. Donnie, very limited issues this year.
Yeah, very.
Probably the least amount of arrests that we've seen.
Right.
So that went over good. I believe that's all I got.
Line item 15, unscheduled public appearances limited to 5 minutes per appearance.
My name is Shelley Stahl. I own this property. I've been here, this is my family property across the street. This street has been this way for over 3 years. I talked to Mr. Fillingham the 29th of April. We'll put it on our budget. Tonight, I guess it's in our budget. I talked to him, let me show you some pictures back behind the house. That I talked to him on April the 23rd about these as well. I had to call again last Tuesday and talk to him. Look at these. This is back behind my house. This has not been this way since I was a child. This road has not been this way since I was a child. It breaks my heart for this to be this way. The road to be this way is a hazard. This is right in front of the Fred Stanley building. You know, I don't understand why I have to ask you twice. I immediately got your city workers there last week when I called you the second time. Tonight it was addressed about the street. Why do I have to ask you a second time to get this done? Has any of the code enforcement been done?
Yes.
Okay. Has anything else been done with the city of you cleaning up the alley like you promised me that day, the 29th of April?
We will be back out there since we...
Did you do it before I had to call you back, sir?
No.
Why?
Man, we've been busy.
Sir, I have a busy job too. But did it take over a month to get my job done? No, it didn't. Why did it take over a month and a second call to get your job done? Do you have a leak? You had a leak, you said, in your neighborhood?
Well, it was a blowout.
Is your street fixed?
No.
How long has it been?
Oh, I don't know.
Has it been over 3 years?
I think it was that day that you called me.
Has it been over 3 years that your street has had a problem?
Actually, my street's in pretty bad shape.
Has it been a problem for over 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is it not fixed? Why don't you do something with the city streets in this town? Why worrying about other things? We need city streets fixed. We need code enforcement done in this city. I pay my taxes. That's been my homestead I'm 61 years old nearly. I've never seen it that way since I was a child. Why is it that way now?
Well, I can tell you that I have put more money into streets since I've been here than any other city manager has.
You haven't done nothing to this street for over 3 years, sir. And this is right in front of your public buildings. That's a disgrace for your city. Now, what are we going to do about it?
So let me finish this. My name is Scott Stahl. I'm married to Miss Shelley there. The city of Madill is not following the code book on nuisances regarding maintenance at the height of weeds. Miss Summer Bryant brought over the code book and we read about it. There is a page there about these weeds are this tall in the alley. So our people that ran over here can't drive down that alley. And then when we contact y'all again last week, you immediately send some workers over there working over the Sandbass Festival immediately, because I guess you forgot that we talked to you the previous time. The city of Madill is not following the code book on nuisances regarding maintenance at the height of the weeds. Our adjoining properties owners in the alley of 505 Overton are not maintaining their side of the alley where the weeds are taller than us. Who do we contact us about that? We contacted the city manager on April 29th, and we contacted our city commissioner, Summer Bryant. She immediately come out and talked to us and looked at the property. We had to recontact the city manager again on June 3rd, and he immediately sent 3 workers out from the Sandbass Festival to start cleaning up the alley. If the city manager had done his job, like he said he was going to do on April the 29th, we would never had to contact y'all again, and we wouldn't do this. We wouldn't be here. You didn't do your job. So we're just saying, as citizens, we don't believe he's doing his job. Thank you.
But I didn't forget. I immediately sent somebody because I didn't want another telephone call like I took.
Why did it take you over a month?
Ma'am, I've got a list of things.
Sir, I have a list of things I do daily too.
Okay, well, obviously, I'm not gonna get the answer to this question, but I got a list of problems I'm trying to fix. That's gonna take a lot longer than a month and a half to fix.
Why didn't you contact me back and say, ma'am, it's going to take me a little bit longer, but I haven't forgot about you. Did you do that?
No, I did not.
And how come we didn't get an answer back from you?
I don't know. Last time I called you, I called twice, left a voicemail, you didn't call me
You
back.
didn't do your job, so why did I even need to talk to you? Because I knew I was coming tonight.
I don't,
You get paid to do a job for your citizens in this town, and I pay my taxes, I pay my water bill. You can look, I have a surplus on my water bill. I asked a simple thing to get done, twice. And then when I had to get you back the second time, oh, you was on it immediately. That's not acceptable.
well, we are on it now.
After the second time.
Well, ma'am, you can rest assured that I don't want a third call. I want to make sure that it's fixed.
And I expect it to be maintained by the neighbors and by the city if that's the way it needs to be done. And I would like a date on the street too. After 3.5 years, I would like the date of when this street's going to be fixed.
As quick as we can get asphalt, but it'll take,
And when will that be?
well, I don't know, I don't make it.
Do you know when it's in your budget?
No, it's in the budget now.
I would hope it would be done by the end of the year.
We gotta move on. It's been 5 minutes. We appreciate you bringing it up, and thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Any comments from anyone else? Okay. Line item 16, remarks and inquiries by council members. I'll just say thank you to Carol for getting all our budget stuff together.
You're welcome.
And putting all that out. And thank you to the police department and fire department for their work with sand bass and for letting me dunk somebody in a tank.
I'm glad I wasn't in there. That was awful.
And then I also just say to you guys, this last week, forget what day, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I asked for some grant money to help us with the pickleball courts from the Texoma Health Foundation, Community Foundation. Don't know yet if we're going to get that grant money yet, but just know that we're trying to get some money to help get some pickleball courts in. So that's all that I have. Anyone else? Line item number 17, adjourn.
Second.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing, Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Call this meeting of the Madill Public Works Authority to order with roll call.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing,
Present.
Williams,
Present.
Davis,
Present.
Stanley.
Present.
Seeing a quorum, line item 3, discussion and action on the consent agenda. A, minutes of May 13, 2025, and B, May general fund purchase orders.
So moved.
Second.
Bryant,
Yes.
Rushing,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Seeing approved, line item 4 becomes moot. Line item 5, discussion and possible action concerning any matter not known or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting this agenda.
I don't have anything.
Line item 6, financial report.
Total bill was $205,493.03. Current revenues are at 92.09%. Expenses are at 102.90%.
Line item 7, city manager's report.
Oh. I messed up. I was supposed to have David come up and do the presentation to y'all for the airport. I got a little bit distracted. Picking up the teeth off the ground. Is it okay if he does it now, or maybe after this meeting? Would that be better?
Yeah, I think you need to finish Public Works.
Okay, and
Finish that,
then just
and then
have
you
him
can-
come up
yeah.
unofficially?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do that and then have you come up.
I should have waved a flag back there.
I would wait a while.
I know. Sorry.
I lost 5 pounds.
I can give you some back.
Anyway, where are we at here?
City manager's report.
I don't have anything.
Yeah. Line item 8, unscheduled public appearances limited to 5 minutes per appearance. Line item 9, remarks and inquiries by council members. Hearing none. Line item 10, adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Bryant?
Yes.
Rushing?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Stanley?
Yes.
Now, if we could steal y'all's time for just a little bit. Yeah, and everybody's welcome to stay. This is,
Hit the lights.
There's a lot of.
Did you get the lights?
Oh, yeah, I thought you might mean that I get lights. I'm like, I don't think so.
Nothing like pressure. Nothing like pressure to get
That's what
something
my
done.
dish says every time the storms come. No signal acquired.
No signal.
Right when the Oklahoma City Thunder are fixing to play.
Just going to go through this real quick. Federal funding, 'cause I know you've got some new council members, so James can ask me to touch on this. Funding on the airport is a 90-10% match with the federal government. One of the big things is the 10% for the city. As you guys know, it's pretty easy to come up with that number. The city's responsible for the airport for 20 years after the last dollar that they take from the federal government. The airport receives what's called MPE funds, so it's $150,000 a year. The city can go 4 years, roll those over, so you have a $600,000 amount that you actually can use every 4 years. The big deal is if you don't use it for whatever reason, say we do 300,000, once you do that, your MPE funds will actually drop for the next year, coming years, because the feds look at that, you're just not using the money. It's happening to a lot of Oklahoma airports. AIG funding, which is Airport Improvement Grants, also known as the BIL, or Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. This came out of COVID, so they took an extra set of money, the federal government did, and said, okay, this is what we want to go to infrastructure. These funds have been allotted for Madill. You can see there's almost $600,000, $585,000 of extra funds above the MPE funds that we get each year to maintain the airport. So they're looking for us to do some projects out there. We have been doing that. We've actually, as James and Cindy and Carol know, we've got some pretty good attention on us for the size of the town that we are. ARPA grants, we picked up a couple of ARPA grants, which also was kind of COVID related. $13,000 grant that picked up the cost of related to personnel cleaning. We put in a new HVAC unit. I think some of that might have went to my salary, I think. $32,000 grant for the new LED beacon and the Phase 2 taxiway. We paid our airport consultants, which we were with Delta Airport, and now we're with Garver Consultants. We voted on that, the council voted on that a few months ago. 2025 projects, rehabilitation of the runway, old taxiways and aprons. That project came in, we only had one bidder, which was kind of unique. They came in under budget, so $343,000 is what the project is. The city has $17,000 of that for the matching 2025. If you notice, that's not a 10% match. This year is a 5% match, which is unheard of. So it's a good year to be doing projects out there. The next thing and that'll come up for a vote next week or next month with the council. The environmental assessment is to purchase land and construct a new runway. Before I kind of get into this, well, I'll go ahead and explain this. That assessment is $315,789, or $315,789,000. City's part of that is $15,789. So again, it's a 5% match instead of 10. The assessment has to be done before we can go any further to decide whether we do a new runway or not. The interesting thing about this is we've been talking about it for a few years. It hit probably before James came into office years ago. Those of you that you might have been around on the council, but it's back. It's back actually with a vengeance. They just kicked this up for these reasons right here. The airport is laid out non-standard. For one, the old transparencies that you would put on a projector and put it up on the board, they had the whole thing turned over. We found this in the notes that I got out of Davis Browse and stuff, so they turned it over. The Indian homes are on the west side. You have to drive across the ramp, which is not, the taxiway, which is not a good thing. All of that airport should have been on the east side of the field. With that being said, it's non-standard layout, so hangars are too close to the runway. That will, if we don't do something with that, that will start affecting our funding from the federal government. The runway's too short by today's standards. Growing aviation demand. So the second largest industry in Oklahoma is $44 billion, and it is aviation. Oklahoma leads the way in aviation with all the STEM programs in high schools across the country, which is really unique. So Oklahoma's has got the eye on them right now. We're landlocked. There's no room to expand. We can't put any more hangars out there. They have 27 names, and it grows every week for people wanting to build hangars. I mean, they're coming. Just people are coming from all over. Ardmore downtown is landlocked. They really can't build much more there. No, not many expectations. This is part of the reason that I'll kind of allude to why the state and the federal government's wanting to get into this. Okay, brands, they don't fly out of here anymore. Oklahoma Steel doesn't fly out. They have to go all the way down to Sherman to fly out. The new runway will catch them as far as the length where they can actually do that. But all of these are your local businesses that charter planes or either have planes that fly in and out. You're having to go to other airports because we can't facilitate that. The state has closed Lake Murray's runway. They closed the Lake Exxon Lodge. Those are all owned by the Oklahoma Department of Tourism. So they've been doing other things with those. So that puts a load on our airport. So it kind of gives you a current layout where we're at. I don't think I can even zoom this in here. Nope, I can't. You can see the black dotted line is the actual airport property. You see the runway runs not quite parallel with it. That's where we get into the non-standard layout for the airport. So what the federal government has decided to do, they have a pool of $7 million. They want to spend $7 million and build a new runway, which would be adjacent to the current runway. Let's see. I'm still on PowerPoint.
And what would be our match, David?
You got to the kicker. I can't. Let's see if I can do it this way. This is kind of a layout here. It's hard to see, but there's 3 phases in there. So there's 112 acres that would have to be purchased from the landowner that joins all the way around the airport, which is Jack O'Banion. He knows about this because it's been brought up to him in the past, but
He's a pilot as well.
He's a pilot as well. But that 112 acres is part of that environmental assessment to see if we can even purchase that or even get into that point. The $7 million match that you talked about, Fred, that you asked about, the state has decided they want to come in and make this thing work. They're going to half the city's match, so now you have a 5% match. So a $7 million project, you're looking at a $350,000 price tag. So it's not something you're going to see every day. These guys are wanting to do this. Landowner, we talked to him a little bit, but we haven't pushed it until we got to this point because this was a $5 million project, and the federal government just came up and said $7 million is what we're going to put aside. So to give you an idea, Ardmore Downtown Municipal, they're getting $5 million. The air park out there, I believe, is getting $6 million. So we're sitting in there where we're towns size of Madill, McAllister, Shawnee. We're getting more money than those guys are being appropriated. So something that the city council will have to think about, to vote on this next meeting for that environmental assessment. I think.
And the environmental assessment is for the possibility of the 100 and some odd acres that we
Yep. Is there any?
might think about buying. That's where the
That's where they
assessment's going to
it's
take
environmental
place.
assessment, and then they'll pick that out of that 112 acres. Is what they'll do. Make sure there's no issues, so it can go forward.
Does that include some of those houses that are?
No,
No. Okay.
no. It's pretty much primarily all Jack O'Banion's land. He's not one to. He doesn't really want to sell his land, but it'd be a fair market value. And the city does actually own land that's out in the middle of his property as well too. So there'd be a little bit of a land swap. I think there's an old, I may misspeak on this, but I think it was an old water tower area.
Has it been assessed, and is O'Banion mentioned how much per acre on this 100 and some odd acres?
It won't be his decision, Fred. The state and the federal government will send in an appraiser to figure out what the fair assessment of the fair value of the land is.
Would that be part of the 7 million
Yes.
or addition to?
No, that'd be part of the 7 million. It's all factored in there. So this layout kind of gives you another little perspective of it. You can see here at the very bottom in the green, that's where it was, the $5 million, and now it's gone to $7 million that they're appropriating. And the way they're looking at that, that's a fiscal 28 for that to be complete, if you look at a timeline.
But to get that extra 5% match is just something that we won't ever get again. I mean, this is.
I can tell you, but talking to Grayson Arties, who's the director of the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics, if we do kind of walk away from this, because the city has done it before, kind of walked away from it, then it's probably not going to come back. I know I probably ran through that pretty fast for some of you, but you guys have any questions or?
And James, you think this is going to be on next month's agenda?
Just for the.
So for the new project, not the $7 million, it'll go back, Fred, to this screen here. So the rehabilitation of the runway, which has to be done anyway, because the runway would be turned into a taxiway, but it has to be brought up to standards because we're below standards on that right now. So that's a $17,000 price tag for this year. And then the environmental assessment has to be voted on the next council meeting, which is a $15,000. So for this year, you're looking, they're just about $33,000.
Did we include that in
We have
the budget we just voted on?
put 70 in there, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
Put 70 in the budget
Yeah, that's what
to
we've had in
take care
there.
of these assessments and appraisals.
Yeah, I got the same amount I put in there last year to have it in there.
Because we came under a price, I think the price tag was about $500,000 for what the engineers thought that the rehabilitation was going to be. And then the 5% cuts out that, if you had to do the 10%, you'd be using it, you'd be right up there. $70,000. Kind of a crazy thing to think that they would spend that kind of money. I mean, it's unique. A lot of people don't realize, they think it's either luxury or just for local pilots, but you've got a lot of businesses that are flying out. One of the things that I kind of talked to James, I won't talk too much out of school, but spoke to one of the major businesses in this town, and it's having to fly out of Sherman, out of Denison, and they would love to be back in Madill. So speaking of that, though, James, there may be some ways too to get some private funds to help with that, offset that $350,000. So that's all I have. And if any of you guys have questions, you get my contact from James. Feel free to reach out.
Very good.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.